might have to go on a book buying ban after this. Hello bookish people, welcome back to my channel. My name is May, and in today's video we are going over my end of summer pre-fall book haul. These are all the books I bought June, July, and the first 9 days of August. And I counted them because I thought it'd be fun to be like, I bought like 30 books in this amount of time. No, it wasn't funny. Once I counted them, it was like, wow, depressing. What are you doing with your life? I have 54 books here. 54 books that I bought in 2 months and 9 days. The rate I am buying books is not at the same rate that I am reading them. So like, what am I doing? What am I doing? And I just did that video counting my physical TBR. And I was like, oh my God, there's so many on here. I need to chill on buying books. No, I did the exact opposite. So we're gonna go over them. I have them all separated into piles here, and I also have books to show you on my Kindle that I bought. And you would think, oh Megan, are your ebooks that you bought included in that 54 number? No, they're not. They're not. So like, I actually bought maybe 60 books. We're not gonna talk about it, okay? Well, we are gonna talk about it, but then after this, we're not mentioning it again. We're just gonna go about our day. We're gonna go about our business. I do need to go on a book buying ban, but like, am I gonna do it? No, because there's so many good releases coming out in fall that I'm just like, I can't do it. Like, I can't go on a book buying ban. Like, what? Like, I can't do that. So maybe I'll just write a list of all the new releases I want to read, and I can only buy those specific books. I think that might be a good idea. First, we're going to be starting with my book of the month pile. These are my June and July selections. The first book I have is Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong. I love Chloe Gong. This is her adult fantasy debut. This is another Shakespearean retelling, and I also heard it involves a deadly competition. It is romance, it is fantasy, romantasy, and I am very excited to read this one because I have just heard amazing things about it so far. The other book of the month selection I have is The Only One Left by Riley Sager. I did read this one in my Summerween vlog. I absolutely loved it. I rated it 4.5 stars. You're following our main character Kit, and she is a caretaker. She gets assigned to take care of Lenora Hope, who is this infamous lady who her whole family was murdered in their family mansion, and she was there, but she has like no recollection of what's going on. Well, now she's mute and she can only communicate via typewriter. And Kit is like, is this woman just like this sweet, fragile old lady, or is she more sinister than I originally thought? It was amazing. I absolutely love this, and I highly, highly, highly recommend it, especially if you love like a gothic house. Highly recommend this one, 4.5 stars. The next book I got from Book of the Month is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. I am so excited to read this one because I absolutely love Ali Hazelwood. Both of her novels and all her novellas, loved all of them. I really enjoy her writing, and I know she gets a lot of criticism for writing the same thing over and over again, but you know what? I enjoy it. I read so many different books a year that I go to the authors for the things they do best, and I heard this one is a fake dating situation. I think she fakes dates the guy, her love interest's brother, and that's how they get together, and I'm very excited to read it. The next book I picked up is my June main pick, and that is She Started It by Sion Gilbert. This is a mystery thriller, and it takes place in the Bahamas on an island. All these girls go to their friend's wedding on this secluded island, and they have no cell service, and they have a history with this girl. I think they used to like bully her or something, so they're very surprised she even invited them to the wedding, and it's a multi-POV mystery thriller. I did start the audiobook for it. I got 15% in, and I didn't finish it before my loan ran out, and I'm obsessed with the cover because the sunset is absolutely stunning, and I love bright pink on a cover. And the last book I got from Book of the Month these past 2 months is The 5-Star Weekend by Ellen Hildebrand. I was so excited when this was a selection because I love Ellen Hildebrand's writing. If you peep that shelf up there, that is literally all Ellen Hildebrand books. I really love her. She's one of my favorite authors. I did read this one recently. I rated it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. You're following our main character, Hollis Shaw, and she is dealing with the grief of her husband passing away. So she creates this 5-star weekend, basically brings someone from every point in her life to come have this girls trip weekend. So her childhood best friend, her college best friend, her mommy best friend, and her midlife best friend. And yeah, it's just a really good time. It's just like every other Ellen Hildebrand novel. I highly recommend it if you love a good character-driven story in a Nantucket setting. So I rated this 4 stars. She is here, my Book of the Month package, so now she could be included in the haul. Oh my God, what perfect timing was that? Okay, so here are my Book of the Month selections for August. The first one being Vampires of El Norte by Isabel Cañas. This is a gothic horror novel similar to her last one, The Hacienda. I did not enjoy The Hacienda. I rated it 3 stars, but like an unenjoyable 3 stars, not like a positive 3 stars. This one though, I'm very excited about because I do love vampires. I heard it's like a gothic romance horror story, centers around vampires, takes place in the 1800s during the Mexico-American War, and I'm excited to read this one. Has a stunning cover. Hopefully this is a better experience than The Hacienda. And then the other book I picked up from Book of the Month is Just Another Missing Person by Gillian McAllister. She is the author of Wrong Place, Wrong Time, which was a very unique mystery thriller, and I think she pulled it off really well. And this one is another kind of interesting premise. I don't remember what it is exactly. I kind of like to go into them blind, so I'll read the premise once I like it, add it to cart, and then I don't read the synopsis again until I read the book. So That's how it's gonna go. We're not gonna talk about it, but I'm very excited about it. Now we're going through the next stack of books, which is my retail hardcover pile, because I also have a retail paperback pile, and then a thrifted paperback pile, and then a thrifted hardcover pile, and then a box set pile, then a special edition pile, and then a classics pile. Starting with the first one, it is called You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight by Kailyn Barron. I'm very excited. I need to stop saying that. I need to stop saying that. I noticed that when I was editing my videos, every book I pick up, I'm like, I'm very excited to read it. Bitch, we obviously know you're excited, or else you wouldn't have bought it, you wouldn't spend money on it, you wouldn't talk about it if you weren't excited. This book sounds really good. It is a summer slasher. You're following this girl. She gets a job at this like camp as a camp counselor or something, but it's not like your typical camp. It's kind of like a Halloween Horror Nights type of vibe. They reenact horror movie stuff, and then things start turning very real, and she's like, oh my god, I gotta figure out what's going on, but I also need to survive, and I gotta get out of this place. And it sounds like a very fun horror time. I really am just looking for a book to make me anxious, and not in like a really anxious way, but like in a horror film type of anxious way. I have not found very many books, like mystery thriller horror novels, that have made me like nervous, and that's what I'm looking for. So this one I think will do the job. The next book in this pile is One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. This book is a Romeo and Juliet retelling, but it centers around witch mafia families. I'm very excited to read an Olivia Blake book that isn't the Atlas Six or the Atlas Paradox, because I really enjoyed both of those books, but I want to read something outside of that trilogy. I have not read any of her other work, and this will be the first one, and I think it'll be a very fun time. I really love the cover of this. It's like this pearlescent white, and it's so, so beautiful. The Barnes & Noble exclusive edition is also beautiful for this book as well, but the original cover, also beautiful. The next book I picked up is Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone by Benjamin Stevenson. I don't really know what this book is about. What drew me to it was obviously the title, love it, and I love the cover. And then it says, Knives Out include me, Agatha Christie, and the Thursday Murder Club in this fiendishly clever blend of classic and modern murder mystery. And that just sounds like something I would enjoy. Like, I love the movie Knives Out, I love Agatha Christie, the Thursday Murder Club, like these are all things that I love. I've never played Clue, but like I'm sure I would love it. It says, everyone in my family has killed someone. Some of us, the high achievers, have killed more than once. I'm not trying to be dramatic, but it is the truth. Some of us are good, others are bad, some just unfortunate. Have I killed someone? Yes, I have. Who was it? Let's get started. Oh my god, just like sounds like my type of book. The next book is The Housekeepers by Alex Hay. This is a historical mystery book, which is not my typical genre, but this one just sounded like a very intriguing, fun premise. It's the biggest party of the season and the most spectacular heist of the century. So you're basically following this lady, and she becomes a housekeeper for this rich family, and then I think they like wrong her in some way, or they fire her, and so she decides that she is going to plan a heist and basically steal everything out of the house during the biggest party of the year. Heist story, historical mystery, fun time. Excited. Next book I picked up is Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. Everybody's been talking about this book. Everyone has been reading it. I have severe FOMO, so I bought it because I need to read it. This is going to be like the first R.F. Kuang book I can actually read. Babel. Intimidating. The popping word. Intimidating. This is a literary fiction. So yes, it'll take brain power, but not as much brain power as Babel will take. The next book I have is A Twisted Love Story by Samantha Downing. This is her latest release. In this book, you are following a very toxic couple. They have their high highs and their low lows, and during one of their very toxic fights, someone ends up dead, and now a detective is on the case. I read My Lovely Wife by Samantha Downing, which was about another like toxic couple. That was about a serial killing couple. I really enjoyed her other book, so why would I not enjoy this book? I just love like a toxic couple and a mystery thriller element. Like, I don't love a toxic couple in a romance, but give me a toxic couple in a mystery thriller. Like, I love it. Because then you can really go there, right? Because that's a mystery thriller. There's supposed to be crazy shit happening, so like you can really go there, which is why I like it in a mystery thriller setting. Moving on to the next pile, this is the retail books I bought in paperback format. The first book we have is The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. It took every ounce of willpower in me to not buy the entire series. And the reason I didn't is because I was like, Megan, like, you don't even know if you're gonna like the first one, but I do love Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Like, I love the Inheritance Games trilogy, so I feel like I'm really gonna love this because everybody I love loves this, and like we all have similar reading tastes, but I didn't buy them all. So that's a win, I guess. But like, I'm obviously gonna buy them once I read this one, so I should have just done it to begin with. The next book I picked up is This Is How You Lose the Time War. This is a book I have been dying to read for a while. It was on sale on Amazon. I picked it up, and it is a relatively short book. I believe it is sci-fi. Based on everything everyone has said about this book, I think I will really enjoy it. The next book I picked up is Playing Hard to Get by Monica Murphy. This one I just ordered on Amazon, and I just ordered this on a book high. I read this. It is on Kindle Unlimited. I read the whole book in one sitting, and I was like, oh my god, that is amazing. This is the best book I ever read. I need to go buy it immediately. Now we are weeks removed from it, and I don't think about this book at all. But you know what? I stand by it. It was a fun time. This is about the popular boy dating the shy, nerdy girl. He is the star athlete and she is his tutor. And I really enjoyed it. It was pretty spicy as well. It was a very low drama book and I love a good low drama romance. I don't need you guys like being toxic and annoying. Just like give me the cuteness, give me the vibes, give me low drama, and I love it. The next two books I picked up go together, and that is The Wicked King and The Queen of Nothing. I bought these because I wanted to sit down and binge the entire Cruel Prince series. Have I done that yet? No, but it's still on my plans to do it. So I obviously needed to buy these in order to do that. The next book I picked up is another scary book because I don't know why I'm like in a scary book buying mood. It is Clown in a Cornfield by Adam Cesar. This one is another YA horror novel. And just look at the cover, look at the title, and I bought it impulsively at Barnes & Noble. The next book I picked up is The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. I bought this because I wanted to get on the Frida McFadden hype train. I read the first 20 pages of it on KU. Like, I didn't even read the physical book. I read the first 20 pages on KU. And then I never picked it up again. And not in a bad way, just I'm like, oh, that was fun. I do plan on reading this book because I've heard so many great things about it. I've heard so many great things about Frida McFadden. The next book I picked up is Icebreaker by Hannah Grace, and she is coming out with another book this fall called Wildfire, which is the second book in this series. So I need to read this book first before I read that book. Even though they're interconnected standalones, you don't have to read them in order. I have to read them in order. You know what I mean? Like, interconnected standalone means nothing to me. My brain says, no, it is in order. You have to read them in that order. This is a hockey romance. I have never read a hockey romance, but considering all the book talk drama going on right now, like, I don't know that I necessarily want to start reading hockey romances. Anyway, the next book I picked up is Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Heron Brake. I feel like this is the sapphic romance novel. Like, this is a sapphic romance novel everybody has read and everybody has rated it 5 stars but me. So now I need to read it. I'm just going in with the expectation that this is going to be a 5-star read just based on what everyone else is saying. But who knows? It could be a 4-star. We don't know. Next book I picked up is A Curse of Saints by Kate Dramas. I bought this in my romantasy era. I'm still in the romantasy era. Like, she's not at like a full force right now. Like, right now I'm in a YA fantasy mood, but I read Serpent and the Wings at Night. I read Fourth Wing and I was like, oh, romantasy is my new favorite genre. I really have no idea what this is about. I feel like nobody has even really talked about this that I have seen. But I impulsively bought it at Target because I like the synopsis. The next book I picked up is The Nanny by Lana Ferguson. This is a book that has been circulating on BookTube. I heard it's very spicy. So she's an OnlyFans model. She is now a nanny. The single dad she is nannying for is her #1 fan on OnlyFans. Does that not sound fun? And like, obviously that is setting up a very steamy premise, a very steamy setup. This one is like you sit down, you read it in one sitting. It's a fun time. And the last book in my retail paperback pile is Red Rising by Pierce Brown, which I also pulled out of the TBR jar in August. So this book I will be reading in August, and I am pumped to read this in August because I heard this is Hunger Games in space. I've heard so many amazing things about this series, about the trilogy. This book I heard is easy for beginner sci-fi readers because I feel like sci-fi, the genre of sci-fi, can be kind of intimidating for those who are not well versed in it because of all the big language and words, and I don't know, sci-fi scares me. Okay, I said it. But this book I heard is accessible for people who are like me, who aren't well versed in the sci-fi genre. The next pile we're moving on to is my thrifted paperbacks, and then we'll get into my thrifted hardcovers. So the first book I have on this pile is The Husbands by Chandler Baker. This book I am currently reading right now. I am 75% into the audiobook and I am absolutely loving it. Basically, this is gender-swapped Stepford wives. You're following this lady Nora. She is in one of those marriages where she works full-time, but she also does all the household work and she is feeling underappreciated. She goes to this like HOA type of neighborhood and all the husbands are doing like the wifely duties that she does. Like, they do the laundry, they go grocery shopping, they take care of the kids, and she's like, what kind of a parallel universe is this? I want in. And she realizes there might be a reason why the guys are acting the way they do. So I would say gender swap Stepford Wives, Barbie, but make it a mystery thriller and a little bit of Get Out in here as well. Next book I picked up, speaking of scary sci-fi, is Children of Time by Adrian Chadovowski. Why did I buy this? I don't really know. I found it at a thrift store. It's $1 or $2, and that is entirely the reason why I bought it. Plus, I saw Books with Emily Fox read this, and I am nothing if not influenced by my favorite booktubers. Probably the last time you're gonna see this on this channel for a hot minute, because this is kind of like on a lifetime TBR of mine. It's not on like an immediate TBR. Like, I'll read this at some point in my life. Is it gonna be in the near future? Probably not, because do we see how big this book is? And it's a sci-fi. What was I thinking? Then I picked up this really cute romance, which is honestly kind of rare. I feel like I don't find really cute rom-coms at the thrift store often, but I was so happy when I found this one. It is called Go Hex Yourself by Jessica Clare. I was so happy because I have seen this book in Barnes & Noble multiple times. I just never really wanted to pay full price for it, but it was always a story I was intrigued by because I thought it was cute. I love a good witchy romance. I was happy to find it at the thrift store. I honestly don't know what it's about. I literally just saw it, picked it up, and was like, okay, I'm buying it. I didn't really investigate further into the plot. I just saw it was a witchy rom-com and it was at Goodwill for $4 and I said, okay, get in my cart. The next book I picked up, I also got at Goodwill, and that is The Silent Wife by A.S.A. Harrison. I've never heard of this mystery thriller, but it has such an interesting premise to it. It is dual POV. One POV is the wife, one POV is the husband. The husband is a serial cheater, he is a womanizer, and the wife has finally had enough of it, and it's told in dual POV, so each alternating chapter leads up to the main event that happens, which is her killing him. I think it's gonna be a really interesting book, and I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it, so I'm hoping it is one of those like diamonds in the rough, a unique find at Goodwill that I haven't heard of but I will love. The next book I picked up from Goodwill is Liquid by Megan Giddings. I already love her because we share the same first name. It says, reminiscent of Jordan Peele's terrifying film Get Out. I love Get Out. It's one of my favorite movies. I have seen it multiple times, and if this book is anything like that movie, I know I'm gonna love it. So I think this will be a very interesting, thought-provoking horror novel. This next book has been on my radar for a while. It's an author I have read before and had mixed results with, and that is The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley. It says, everyone's invited, everyone's a suspect. So this book came out prior to The Guest List, which I feel like was probably one of her biggest books. I really enjoyed The Guest List. I rated it 3 stars, but a positive 3 stars. What I really love about her mystery thrillers is they're told in multi-POVs, and you always have all these different perspectives. It keeps it interesting, it keeps it fun. A New Year's reunion in the remote Scottish wilderness. One of these friends is a murderer and one won't make it out alive. Sounds very fun for winter time because I'm pretty sure it's going to be snowing. I live in Florida, so like I could read a snowy book any time of year because it will never feel like winter in my location. But this one I will be saving as a winter thriller. The last book in my paperback thrifted pile is The Murder of Mr. Wickham by Claudia Gray. This is just a historical murder mystery. I have a lot of historical books in my physical TBR, and I'm not somebody who really reads historical fiction, so I feel like I should just do a week reading all my historical books, reading my historical romances, my historical mystery thrillers, or not even mystery thrillers, but like mysteries. I think it would be a fun week. I should do that. I should do that. The next pile I have is my thrifted hardcover books, starting with the first one, which is Harry Potter, The Tales of the Beetle and the Bard by J.K. Rowling. This book, I really don't know anything about it. I didn't know this book existed. I think this is literally just like short story collections that take place in the wizarding world. And I'm going to save this for fall. I actually really want to do a Harry Potter reread, and I did put the first Harry Potter book on my August TBR to start the reread of that, so maybe this will be read in the near future. This next book I have never heard of before, but it's probably my favorite book that I have thrifted in the past couple months, and that is Kill the Boy Band by Goldie Moldavsky. This book is just like, first of all, look at the cover. Like, I love the black with the hot pink bold letters, and look at what is going on under here. Absolutely stunning. And then look at the this book is stunning, just like on its own. Like, it's not a special edition. This is just the book. This is just her in her natural form, and she's stunning. She's beautiful. So you're following this group of girls, and they're like obsessed with this band, and they go stalk them to this hotel that they're staying at, and then they find one of like the less desirable members of the band, right? Like the ugly one of the band, but he's like not actually ugly, and they decide to kidnap him, and then they hold him hostage in a room, and I don't know what goes on from there. It just sounds like the type of book I would love. This one's in my hardcover pile, but it's technically a paperback, but it is the size of a hardcover, so I get why I put it here. And that is A Clash of Kings by George R.R. Martin. This is the second book in the Game of Thrones series. I thrifted the first book, A Game of Thrones. Now I thrifted the second book. And am I going to read these books? I don't know. Don't ask me that question. The next book I thrifted is The Prisoner by B.A. Paris. I have seen this mystery thriller author everywhere in the thrift store. Like, she's obviously very popular, but I haven't heard a lot of people on BookTube talk about this author. This book, I forgot really what the premise was, but it's about this girl. She gets kidnapped, and then she says, who are the mysterious captors, and why does she soon feel safer here in prison than she had begun to feel with her husband? The next book I thrifted is a book I already owned. I owned it in paperback, so now I have the hardcover edition of it, and that is Circe by Madeline Miller. I will always upgrade. Even if I buy something retail, paperback, but I find the hardcover at the thrift store, I will just upgrade my book, and then I will donate the other one, and then it's a full circle moment. The next book is a 2023 release I was very happy to find because it was one that was on my radar, and that is The Bandit Queens by Perini Shroff. This is another historical novel. So you're following this woman who has been accused of killing her husband, or there's no evidence to prove that she killed her husband, but everybody in her village thinks that she has killed her husband. So now all these other women are coming to her and saying like, hey, my husband has done these horrible things. Will you help me kill him? I believe that's what the premise is. And the last book I have in my thrifted hardcover pile before we move on to my special edition pile is Red Queen by Victoria Avery. This is the first book in the Red Queen series. It is a 4-book series. I own 2 of the books in hardcover, and then I own 2 of the books in paperback. Well, now I own 3 of the books in hardcover, and I just need to find Warstorm, which is the last book in the series, in hardcover, and then I will have a completed hardcover set all thrifted. You know, I said I was going to do my special edition pile, but first we're going to get through these, which is my classic / nonfiction pile. There's only 4 books, don't worry. I'm not going to bore you too much because I don't even know the synopsis of these. The rate in which I buy classics versus the rate of reading classics is like laughable. It is laughable. But the first one we have is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. I've heard really great things about this classic in particular, and it's short, so I could see myself reading this. For real, for real. The next one we have is Animal Farm by George Orwell. This is a book that I never read in school, but I've always wanted to read this book. It just seems to be very interesting. I've seen the movie of this, never read the book. I read 1984 by George Orwell. I really enjoyed it. This is just another classic by him, and this is a classic I actually foresee myself reading. We have The Torrents of Spring by Ernest Hemingway, and this one's very short, so I bought it. Next, I have Why We Sleep. This is the one nonfiction book I have. Why We Sleep, Unlocking the Power of Sleep and Dreams by Matthew Walker. I'm trying to read more nonfiction in a general sense, not in a real sense, because I've only read like 2 nonfiction books this year. But I thought this is an interesting topic, so why not pick it up? Now I'll show you my box sets, and then we'll end on the special editions. So the first box set I picked up is the Selection series by Kira Cass. This is just a classic staple in the YA world. I feel like everybody has read the Selection series. I have not. But you know what I love about the series? Do you see how thick the books are? Like, as the series goes on, the books don't get thicker. They stay the same. Everyone just wants to make the next book like 1,000 pages long, and you know what? I like a consistent short thing. You know what I mean? Like consistently short books. We love to see it. The next box that I bought was also on Amazon Prime Day, and that is the Caraval trilogy. I have read the first Caraval. I am in the middle of a Legendary, and then next I have to read Finale. I got this box set for like $23 on Prime Day. 3 hardcover books, $23. You can't beat the price. And now we are getting into my special edition pile, starting with the first 2, which are the books in the same series. So we have Daughter of the Pirate King and Daughter of the Siren Queen, both by Trisha Levenseller. I just love that publishers are now getting in on the sprayed edge books, making pretty books for affordable prices. I found these on Amazon, and they're very, very pretty. And I have the third one on pre-order because it comes out November 7th. I recently started my Fairy Loot subscription, so I have 2 books here. These are the June and July selections, which I've already shown these on my channel. First one is Shanghai Immortal by A.Y. Chow. This one says half a vampire, half a fox spirit, all trouble. And I said, I'm sold. That sounds like a very fun premise. I love the cover. Everything about this edition is stunning. I think this will be a fun read. The next book I have is Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong. This is just such a stunning edition. I love the edges, and I've already talked about the synopsis of this book. Now I just have a pretty Fairy Loot edition, and I'm going to read my Book of the Month edition because that one can get like read, and this one will just stay perfect. Then I have my 2 secret project books from Brandon Sanderson. First one being Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England. I DNF'd this book, but I DNF'd the Kindle edition. I'm going to try to reread it using the hardcover edition, and hopefully I have a much more pleasant experience. The next book is Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. This is another amazing, pretty edition, but like my complaint about them is why are they both blue? Because Chest of the Emerald Sea is green, and now when they're sitting on my shelf, it's like green, blue, blue. No, I don't like that. Like, they have to be distinctively different covers if I'm going to have them all together, because like it just doesn't look right if it's like green, blue, blue. I don't really know what this one is about at all. I think it's I feel like there's romance in here for some reason. I don't know why, but I mean, I guess that's why I think there's romance in here. And those are all the books. Oh my god, we didn't go through my Kindle books. I almost forgot. We did not go through my Kindle books. Okay, so let's go over the books I bought through Kindle Daily Deals. If I remember how much I paid for them, I'll let you know. First one we have is Fake Dates and Mooncakes by Shara Lee. This is a YA romance. It follows these 2 guys who enter this baking competition. One is there to really help his family. The other one's there, I think, for fun. And then they're a distraction for each other during the competition. It sounds like a cute romance. It's under 300 pages. So I was like, sign me up. I will read that. Next, we have A House with Good Bones by T. Kingfisher. This one is a horror novel. I've been dying to read T. Kingfisher's writing for a while because I feel like so many people love her work, and she has so many books to pick from. This is her latest release. It had a really interesting premise. It's about these kids that go to visit their mom. Like, they're adult, grown-up children now, right? They go to visit their mom, and their mom is usually like very happy and like bright colors in her house, but her house is like almost sterile. Like, everything is white in there, and they're getting really weird vibes, and it is a horror novel. And I think her books are also relatively short, so excited to read this as well, just to see what the T. Kingfisher hype is about. I paid $3 for this book, and I paid $2 for Fake Dates and Mooncakes, and I bought them yesterday. Another book I bought through Kindle Daily Deals is The Social Aid's Guide to Murder by S.K. Golden. This is another like historical mystery novel. It has a really interesting premise to it. I don't really remember off the top of my head, but I remember reading the synopsis when I was doing research for a Book of the Month predictions video, and again, I saw it through Kindle Daily Deals. It was like $1.99. I bought it. The next books I picked up are a duology, or actually it is a trilogy. I only bought the first 2 books because those were the only ones in the Kindle Daily Deals, and that is Dawn and Adulthood Rights by Octavia E. Butler. This is from the Xenogenesis trilogy. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Octavia E. Butler is an author I've been dying to read for a while. I've heard so many great things about her work, and I have never read anything by her, so I'm excited. I own these 2 books now, and we will see how they go. The other book that I bought is Love at First Set by Jennifer Dugan. This is a sapphic romance, and it seems to take place at the gym or something. I don't know. It was like $2, and I bought it. Another book I bought, One Dark Window by Rachel Gilling. This is a gothic fantasy novel. I've heard really great things about it. Honestly, I wish I had the physical edition of this because the cover is stunning, especially with a metallic gold on it. Oh my god, I'm jealous that I don't own it. Next book I bought through Kindle Daily Deal is The Last Word by Taylor Adams. This is his latest release, so I was very excited to find it for a good price. I think I paid like $2 or $3 for it. This was a Book of the Month selection. I hesitated to buy this because I did see someone in the Book of the Month comments give a trigger warning for animal abuse in this book, but then so many people that I love have read this book and really enjoyed it, so I was like, we'll give it a chance, and I could just skim through that part. And the last book I have on my Kindle is Need Me by Tessa Bailey. I have no idea what it's about. It's a Tessa Bailey book, so I bought it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye! All these